You're at the beginning of first period, and your teacher slaps your chemistry test on your desk, and guess what it says? You got 100. You got every single fucking question right because you're a goddamn academic weapon. Your teacher praises you, your friends praise you, you come back home and your parents praise you. Everyone is praising you because you got the highest grade in the class. You come back home and you visit your grades portal to see how everything is going, and you just read down that list. A, fucking A's everywhere. Not a single B in sight. Feels fucking awesome, right? But then that same night, you go into bed, you take out your phone, and you go on YouTube, and you search up, "Girlfriend holds you while you cry ASMR." And you listen to that shit through your little AirPods, and cry yourself to sleep. Her voice also gets to your wee-wee a little bit hard, which leads to you busting a nut just a few hours later. Because of course that ASMR led you down a deep rabbit hole of fucked up searches. There goes your sleep. Even with all those amazing grades, you're still a fucking idiot. How? I'm Vaishvik and I was voted goodest boy in high school and I fucking hated it, so I'm gonna help you on the transition from good boy to top 1% man that I'm on. Some of the stuff I talk about is probably stuff you never heard on YouTube or from any other self-improvement creator, so I'm hoping you're looking for some real, actual, uncomfortable shit to learn about. If you're weak and get offended easily, you can stay, but don't let your grubby little fingers scroll over to the comments and type some bullshit. Don't look at other videos you can watch after this one while I'm fucking speaking, because you really need to hear all of this right now before it's too late and you become a femboy. Give your full attention to this video, or at least listen to it like a podcast or something, because I'm not here to give you dopamine. I'm here to teach you a lesson. This video, just like all my other videos, is raw and barely edited because I don't give a fuck about giving you pleasure and entertainment. I give a fuck about you learning something. First, understand this. Basically, almost everyone in this world supports getting good grades, right? It is a good thing, a very good thing in our society. I mean, no shit, you probably already knew this, right? Because like your parents have probably raised you in a way such that you'll get a good paying job in the future and then maybe settle down after that. But how do you get to that good paying job? Good grades. Look at the popular media too, even they support it. And don't give me this bullshit about red pill, escape the matrix posts becoming more and more the norm, because that's just not true. You know, red pill, escape the matrix, that's great and all, but 99% of people, average people, will probably just ignore that stuff. They won't even look in that direction of life because it's more comfortable to just follow the get a good job advice our parents moved down to us and glorified. Like, look at any Dharman video with a nerd and a bully. You know, by nerd, I'm not talking about the actual definition, which is, I'm pretty sure, someone who's very knowledgeable in a particular field and kind of average at everything else. Like, you can't just be a nerd in general. You have to be a nerd in, computers, a nerd in music, a nerd in video games, right? But no, in this case, I'm talking about the general consensus definition of a nerd, who's basically someone who gets all A's and participates in class. The general consensus definition of a bully, probably some, bitch-ass motherfucker without a father figure. The story will always be the same in these videos. Like the bully bullies the nerd, and the nerd's like, you'll never get ahead if you bully. And then, the bully's like, nah, fuck you. And he keeps bullying him. And then later the bully gets in trouble and then apologizes to the nerd. Some version of that is usually what happens in these videos. Maybe in certain versions, the bully has some deep fucking trauma or abuse situation, which makes us all feel bad for him. I know that, but in either case, the nerd still ends up as the, fuck you, I told you so, I win bigger man type of guy who gets most of the praise. And that's why these videos are so popular, because it gives the nerds some kudos, like they're doing the right things with their lives. I'm a fucking nerd by general consensus definition, by the way, because I got straight A's all throughout high school, particularly A+. So I would beat my meat to those videos too. They made me feel really good about myself. But let's be for real. If you're a nerd, you probably won't end up becoming your bully's boss. Honestly, I'm right here, because the good boy values that got you good grades are not the same values that will make you a big boss. You'd have to change in some aspect, maybe in your values and skills to achieve that. But by the way, that doesn't mean I support the whole fucking F students are inventors thing. If you believe in that, you're probably both an F student and a fucking retard. I know damn well you didn't study for the chemistry test that day because you were busy inventing shit. No, it's because you were probably gooning to anime the whole day. That was a bit off topic, but let's get back to the points. The nerd glaze needs to stop. Really envision what you've been doing for years. You sit in a chair and you listen to your teacher yap about some useless bullshit for an hour, and then you have to shut the fuck up, circle A's, B's, and C's on your little homework paper, and turn it in, or wait, show your work or else Big Daddy's gonna crash out and fuck you in the ass, and then you get rewarded for it with a fucking letter. Do you feel like a man with balls and a dick in that life? Do you feel like this is the best way to prepare yourself to contribute to the world? Do you feel like this is the path that you must take to be fulfilled in life? Because you've been convinced by everyone around you that this is the only way to live your life on Earth. The only way. It's fucked. Totally fucked. I'm not saying that education isn't important. It absolutely is. It's one of the most important things ever. But academics, after elementary school, fuck that, honestly. It just becomes a bunch of useless shit you have to memorize now. Because you want to know something about learning and education that you probably haven't experienced with academics. You're supposed to like it. You literally feel good after learning something new, after learning a good skill, because it literally generates fucking dopamine, the pleasure chemical. Not like the unhealthy amount you get from edging your little pee-pee, but a good, healthy amount. Because learning in general is an awesome thing. You have to learn and practice a skill to be able to contribute to the world with said skill. That is literally how you fulfill your purpose and your mission as a man. If school really gave a fuck about education and learning and mastering useful and relevant skills, we'd probably enjoy it a lot more. But we don't. Because, just try to answer this. What skills has school taught us? They taught us a lot of fucking information, don't get me wrong, but what skills? The thing is, school didn't actually teach you any skills. It just made you practice them. They were kind of onto something with the whole elementary school respect other stuff. But other than that, it was all bullshit. School made you a soft, weak boy who can't stand up for himself and has to go, tell the teacher. At the very least, they put you in a room with other kids so that you can, socialize. But they never taught you how to socialize. So you just end up becoming friends with retards, with bad influences, and you can't get any girls either. That's the problem that comes with throwing someone into practice without even just a little bit of guidance. Just a side note here, by the way. School didn't even teach you how to fuck. School didn't even teach you how to attract a woman and put your dick in her. So no wonder you're addicted to porn. The number one skill that I'll say school got us to practice, not really teach us, but got us to practice, is test taking and studying skills. I employed this one the most, obviously, as a nerd of general consensus, as a top tier good boy. And because of that, I got excellent grades. But I'm sure so many class toppers like me, if you're also a class topper, maybe you can resonate with me on this. We often wonder, was it even worth it? Did it even fucking matter? Because think about it, right? Imagine you got 100 on your chemistry test, like I said in the beginning of this video. Imagine you got 100, you got everything right. Are you happy? Do you feel victorious? Did you get that healthy dopamine boost? Because now you're confident in your ability to draw the Lewis structure of neodymium or some shit? No, obviously fucking not, right? You're happy because you got 3 fucking digits. You got 100. So now you have numerical proof that you are better than everyone else in your class. Because society likes good grades. Congratulations, you got 100. But do you have a purpose in life? That was a rhetorical question. Actually, think about it. Especially if you're in high school or college. Do you feel like you have a purpose in life? Do you know your purpose? Do you feel like you're on the path to your purpose? Or are you just chasing the grades, those little pats on the back that others will give you for your soulless work. As a respectable man, you need a purpose. You need some work that feels fulfilling to you and contributes to the world. You need something that gets you up every morning and drives you to do the work today so that you can make an impact on the world. That needs to be big fucking stuff. Because without that, you'll probably die with regret. Don't fucking deny that. With school, it feels like there's two types of students who make up the general population. The first group are the students who did bad in school, and they're ultimately convinced that because they got shitty grades, they should work some low-level, low-wage, shit-fucking depressing slave wage job for the rest of their lives. The second group of students are the students who did really well in school, but because they spent so much time chasing the grades and the recognition and doing well and studying and shit, they didn't even think about their true purpose in life. They didn't even give a fuck about it. Because over those years, they kind of got used to their life's purpose being school and getting good grades. That was their purpose until graduation. So when it's over and your measure of value is about how much money you have, and not necessarily the grades that you got, they end up confused and end up in some, maybe higher level, maybe higher paying, but still depressing wage slave jobs. The fact that it's still a depressing wage slave job is just so ass. So that makes the second group of students end up like 20% better than the first group of students. And that 20% is the higher salary and maybe some more respect from other wage slaves. It's okay, but it's not the best life possible. If getting the best grades was a central part of our life, it was probably the center of your childhood if you were some like fucking Asian crazy motherfucker in school. If it was such a central part of our lives, why does getting the best grades not directly steer us towards the best life possible? Why does getting the best grades only end up putting you in a position that's just a little bit better than the retards who didn't study? The retards are like around here, the class toppers, valedictorians are like here, and there's some motherfuckers who are all the way up here. Like, how the fuck did you get up there? I want to know. At this point, people will probably be like, well, what about Mark Zuckerberg? He got a 1600 on his SAT and he went to Harvard, so it must be important to do well academically to make it big in life. But that's just not fucking true, because even Mark Zuckerberg knew it was a waste of time at some point, so he dropped out of Harvard in his second year. You want to talk about Bill Gates? He did the same fucking shit too. He also dropped out. Well, the academics must have helped him a lot. Well, you don't fucking know that. There's tons of thousands of students at these Ivy League schools. There's tons of people at Harvard, UPenn, Stanford, Columbia. There's people everywhere, but only a handful of them become big names. The rest of them end up in some, maybe really good, but still wage slave jobs. Well, they got the best academic experience, because it's the Ivy League. No, shut the fuck up, you absolute idiot. Imagine basing your expectations for life success on US news and niche rankings. You don't get to open your fucking mouth. These guys still have some daddy telling them what to do all day, and we don't want to end up like that. We want to end up here like all the big guys, and there's absolutely a way. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's probably a lot of kids going to school who are actually interested in a certain subject. Maybe they want to find the cure to cancer or something, or maybe they want to be a doctor or a lawyer, which requires a lot of academics and schooling. But these students probably make up like 5% of the entire student population. And half of them probably need to take a good look in the mirror at themselves and ask themselves, do I really want this? Or am I just following someone else's dream? Perhaps my parents' dream for me, which is to get good grades, get a good job, and work like a good boy until I'm 65? Maybe what I really want to do is do a business and go on the fast lane like Vaishvik. So if you're not doing very well in school and you want to be a top 1% respectable man, just know that getting good grades won't really help you that much. You might feel like you'd be on top of the world if you got all those A's, but it wasn't the learning that was important to you then. It was the grades. School made the wrong thing important. That's why even with all these amazing grades, you're still, scrolling on Reels, being a degen, watching bullshit shows, bullshit anime. You don't even have a girlfriend because school didn't teach you how to get one, so you're watching girlfriend ASMR at night to comfort yourself. Getting good grades only makes you better among the average, not better than the average. It gets you ahead in the rat race, but you're still a fucking rat. Hear that again. It gets you ahead in the rat race, but at the end of the day, you're still a fucking rat. And I was the best rat, by the way. Mind you, I was valedictorian of my high school. But, look at my arms. There's no muscle. I'd get beat up by a big guy. There's some muscle now because I've been training consistently for a few months now. But before that, there was barely anything. I didn't give a shit about social skills. Arguably, I would say that's the best part about being in school. You get to make good friends and meet new people. But I was so busy with studying and all this bullshit that I didn't even care about that. So I got all lonely and addicted to porn and other modern addictions. We often target so much praise to these quiet little guys who just sit there and study like it's their life's purpose, and we fail to recognize that these guys are probably fucking sad and lonely, and they still do degenerate shit at night. Probably even more because they lack some good friends. You can also give me some bullshit like life is about balance and you should balance studying with your life's purpose, which already sounds like bullshit, doesn't it? If school is not relevant to your dream life, if studying for exams and fulfilling your purpose aren't aligned, then school is not some fucking prerequisite for you. It's an obstacle. Well, just waste your time on these 10 assignments first, and then you can do your purpose. Like, no, it's not fucking effective time management like these teachers are telling you. It's a waste of time because you don't even care about what you do in school anyway, because it doesn't serve you in your purpose, your real work. Not your schoolwork, your real work. The work that is designed to help you fulfill your purpose, your mission. My real work for my purpose is making these videos to help young men like you who are struggling and want to improve their lives. That sounds like the right type of work for a man with a dick and 2 balls, right? When your mission and life work depends on your grades, like, oh, whatever class I got the best grade in, that's just fucking stupid. You're sitting in the back seat of your life. You're letting the school system determine your purpose. Just because you didn't like your microeconomics class doesn't mean you shouldn't become a businessman. If you're like most people, you probably think most classes suck anyway, not necessarily because of the subject, but because of the nature of school where you just write pointless essays and take stupid fucking little tests instead of actually doing things that serve the world and make money. As a man, you choose, you select your own purpose. Don't forget that. Your purpose will always go above academics. Always. So here's my ultimate advice for you. This is all you have to do. This is so fucking easy. Go read a book. I swear, if you don't do this, you're actually a fucking pussy. Just go to your local library, get a book, and read it. And now you're probably wondering, like, what type of book should you get? Get a self-improvement book. If you're watching this video, you probably are on self-improvement because you want to be a top 1% respectable man, right? And I know these videos and all these podcasts and all this shit will give you more dopamine and motivation, but if you're not willing to read one fucking self-improvement book by now, can you even say you're even on this path? And don't give me some bullshit like, well, Vaishvik, I don't like reading. Stop being a little dopamine slave bitch. You probably just don't think you like reading because you haven't yet read a book that interested you. I don't like reading. Shut the fuck up. What about fiction, Vaishvik? No, are you stupid? That's bullshit. Take all your fiction books and throw it in the fucking fire. It's time to read some big boy stuff now. The only time you've probably ever had to read in your life was for those fucking reading logs in elementary and middle school, and you would just choose Diary of a Wimpy Kid every single time because it was the easiest one to read and the easiest one to write about, and you've already watched the movie or something. Or for those motherfuckers that say, oh, I'm a hands-on learner. Well, bro, reading is hands-on. If you actually want to retain what you're reading, you can't just simply read the words on the pages. You're probably going to forget everything. So this is what you actually have to do. Read about like 5 pages of the book at a time. And between each 5 pages that you read, write a little bit in a journal or a Google Doc Actually, no, Google Doc. Take out a fucking paper journal. Don't be a lazy fuck. Go in a journal and just write down how you can apply what you've learned from those pages that you've just read. For example, if you're reading a book about having conversations with people and socializing, and you see a particular tip that you want to use on someone, then just write it down in your journal. Write, like, after reading those pages about that tip, write, I'm going to use this particular tip on Sarah on Monday. Boom, simple. That's all you have to do. So every few pages, just write down how you can use the information from those pages in your life, or at least write something important that you should keep in mind. I'm telling you, it's that easy. Just do it. What makes it even easier is that so many self-improvement books already tell you how you can apply the information they're giving you to your own life. They often have like specific sections with actionable steps that you can write about and do. Some books have like a checkpoints where they have a few questions that they ask you about your own life that relate to the topic of the chapter that you're on right now. And I just ask that you go onto your journal and just write down your answers to those questions. It's that simple. But if there's no checkpoints or anything that they do for you, then you gotta grab your balls and do it yourself and write down in those pages how you can apply that information to your own life. This is the method that I used when I started reading, and it really worked very well for me because it forced me to think about what I was reading instead of just reading like I don't give a fuck like a lot of you young men are doing. I know that a lot of other self-improvement creators are very avid readers, and they have all these categorized spreadsheets and the Notion document with the big idea, the main idea at the top, and like the KWL chart or whatever. I know all this, but honestly, I'm too fucking retarded and brain dead to do any of these routinely. And chances are you are too. So I just recommend starting with the simpler method that I just talked about. You're also probably wondering what specific self-improvement book you should read. And it doesn't really matter. Just go onto Reddit or Quora or any of these forums. Just search up on Google. You can search up books that changed your life. Self-improvement books that changed your life, whatever. Go on to Reddit or Quora, and all these people have replies on books that, did really good things for them. Find the right book based on what aspect of life you want to focus on. If you have any ideas for books, you can put them in the comments to help your boys out. Or if you're that much of a baby and you need me to spoon feed you, here are some options. You can read Can't Hurt Me for discipline. You can read The Millionaire Fastlane for money, or The Way of the Superior Man for masculinity. Just start with one of those for now, and then you can keep progressing to other books as you improve yourself. I think I'm probably on my 6th book right now, because I take quite a lot of time with each book that I read because I'm doing all this note taking and everything. And if you've been reading before you watch this video, but you haven't tried the strategy that I recommended, you should definitely do that. Please don't read like a little bitch, like you're just reading the pages, like you're just flipping through the pages and you read 200 pages in one day and you're like, oh my God, I finished a book, but then you don't remember anything by the end of it. You might be wondering what this action step has to do with anything I said in this video. It's because books are the greatest accessible source of knowledge on this planet. Of course, the idea of teachers being taught by an actual human being is amazing and even better than books, but the issue is that most teachers are subjected to teaching you useless bullshit that the school system thinks you need to know for like $50K a year. And it can be difficult to get a solid mentor when there's so many retards around you. But the power in a single book is fucking insane. I'm telling you, reading books is 100 times more effective than school. There might be other forms of education out there like these videos, podcasts, movies, documentaries, but there's just something so special about books in particular. It's like all the stuff that you would definitely want to learn, life-changing stuff, is in books particularly. The knowledge in all of these books are so dangerous and so powerful and so world penetrating that school doesn't want to teach you it. Just like use common sense, the greatest minds who can pass on the best education to the people, they're writing fucking books. They're not making YouTube videos like me. I'm 100% serious with this. No tests, no chasing A's, no lectures, no time-wasting homework, no bullshit. Literally just get a book on the skill you want to acquire. Read a few pages of it, write about what you learned and how you can apply it, read a few pages again, and repeat. And make sure you're actually doing the actionable things that you're writing. You better use that talking to girls sip on Sarah on Monday. If you don't, you're a little pussy and all you're learning was bullshit. But that is the best way to learn. I'm fucking telling you. I know you still have to go to school or else you're gonna get your ass whooped by your parents, but please just try the reading thing whenever you have time. And I know you have time based on your unproductive screen time. This video won't change your life. You will. You will change your life. Long video. All right.